Welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to guide you through today's topic because we are looking at a massive, fundamental paradigm shift in how global business actually operates. Think about it. For centuries, the most valuable assets a company could own were, well, physical, right? Real estate, factories, huge shipping fleets. But today, the frontier has completely shifted. The ultimate resource isn't being pulled out of the ground anymore. It's being generated by our networks, our customers, and our daily operations. Yep, we're talking about data. But not data as some massive storage headache. We're talking about data as the most powerful, legally recognized asset on your balance sheet. And today, we are exploring a literal world-first innovation that makes this possible, the Isle of Man Data Asset Foundation.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Data is no longer just information. It can be structured as an asset. That single quote completely shatters the traditional perception of data. For so long, organizations have viewed data as, mere information. It's a byproduct of doing business, it sits on servers, it incurs crazy IT costs, and maybe, just maybe, you run some analytics on it. But this concept, it demands a total mindset shift. It tells us that data is actually an untapped, highly valuable asset class just waiting to be recognized. Just like a piece of prime real estate or a groundbreaking patent, your data has intrinsic value. But to actually capture that value, it can't just be a messy pile of digital files. It absolutely must be deliberately and legally structured. So, to demystify this entire framework, we've got a super logical path for today. We'll start with the data asset paradigm, then we'll move into defining the DAF, followed by unlocking data valuation. After that, we'll ask, why the Isle of Man? And finally, we'll wrap up with implementation and oversight. Right, let's kick things off with part one, the data asset paradigm, evolving from information to an actual asset. Think back a few decades. Intellectual property, like software code or brand trademarks, wasn't fully understood or properly valued back then. Well, today, data stands at that exact same historical crossroads. Many of your organizations are sitting on incredibly valuable data in these vast lakes and server farms. But because it's unstructured and, let's face it, pretty chaotic, you can't effectively use or monetize it. It's honestly like owning a literal mountain of gold ore, but having zero mining equipment or legal deeds to the land. The potential is massive, but without structure, the true commercial value just remains locked away. That brings us nicely to Section 2, defining the DAF, which is a totally new legal framework. Now, let me be very clear about what a data asset foundation, or DAF, actually is. It's a legal structure that enables organizations to formally structure, govern, and realize the value of data. This is not some new piece of software, it's not a cloud storage platform, and it is definitely not just another IT buzzword. It is a rigorous, world-first legal framework that explicitly enables you to formally structure, meticulously govern, and fully realize the financial value of your data. Think of it as creating a highly specialized legal vault where your data is defined, protected, and recognized as a completely distinct entity. So the crucial point is how this actually functions in practice through its core legal pillars. A DAF allows you to define absolutely clear rights over your data. It provides a formal framework for governance, meaning everyone knows the rules of engagement. But perhaps most remarkably, it allows you to register these data sets through a formal data asset register. Imagine having an actual title deed for your most valuable data sets. No way, right? But that is exactly what this provides. And by having that registration, you can confidently support the secure, highly controlled, and profitable use of that data. Moving right along to Section 3, unlocking data valuation, or in other words, finding that commercial edge. You already know your company's data is incredibly valuable. But ask yourself this, could you actually prove that to an investor tomorrow? If someone walked in and wanted to buy your data, how do you prove you own it and that it's structurally sound? This framework perfectly bridges the gap between abstract ones and zeros and tangible financial value. You aren't just hoarding data anymore. You are positioning it squarely within the global financial ecosystem as a tradable, licensable, and verifiable commodity. And here's exactly why this matters so much commercially. When you wrap your data in a DAF, you instantly demonstrate its quality and integrity to the outside world. This structure gives you the absolute confidence to enable data sharing and strike up lucrative licensing agreements simply because your rights are legally crystal clear. When you sit down for valuation or investment discussions, you aren't pointing to some vague IT report, you are pointing to a legally registered foundation. It strengthens your overall governance and provides the hard verification that heavy-hitting investors and strategic partners absolutely demand these days. Let's move to Section 4 and see how this builds. Why the Isle of Man? Why is it the ideal jurisdiction?
Well, a legal framework is only ever as strong as the jurisdiction that actually writes it into law, right? You need a place that genuinely understands complex financial structures. The Isle of Man is an internationally recognized, highly stable, and forward-thinking jurisdiction. They have an incredible track record of pioneering financial frameworks. By stepping up and being the world's first to introduce the DAF, they are providing what businesses crave the absolute most: legal certainty. The source material hits the nail on the head here, calling the Isle of Man a trusted framework to use data with confidence. When you are structuring cross-border business assets, managing international licensing, and dealing with global investors, trust is the currency that matters most. The island's robust regulatory environment provides the exact trusted ecosystem required for these complex, high-value data structures to really thrive, completely free from regulatory ambiguity. Okay, bringing us to Section 5, implementation and oversight. Basically, how do we bring the DAF to life? Establishing a DAF is definitely not a DIY weekend project. It requires a highly specialized approach. It must be absolutely grounded in strong governance and regulatory clarity. You need practical implementation that seamlessly integrates with your current business operations. You must build really robust legal structures. And paramount to all of this is independent oversight and clear accountability. You need experts who understand both the complex legal nuances of the Isle of Man and the commercial realities of data asset management to step in and act as your independent trustees or council members. And this brilliantly illustrates the point. When you're appointing fiduciaries to oversee your most valuable digital assets, you require proven, institutional-grade trust. This means you need award-winning credibility, like that of Charterhouse. They were recognized as the runner-up for Independent Trust Company of the Year in the Isle of Man at the 2026 CityWealth IFC Awards. Their contact details are noted in our source material, and honestly, they represent the exact caliber of expertise you need for something this important. So, to summarize the journey we've taken in this explainer, we've moved from seeing data as a chaotic, unstructured byproduct to recognizing it as a formal, highly valuable asset. By utilizing the world-first data asset foundation, forward-thinking organizations are securing a massive competitive advantage. They're gaining real legal clarity and finding the ultimate framework to successfully monetize the digital economy. I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. Take a hard look at your own operations. Is your organization leaving its most valuable asset completely unstructured, legally exposed, and financially untapped? The framework to change all of that now exists. The opportunity is literally right in front of you. It's time to stop treating your data like a storage problem and start structuring it like the prime asset it truly is. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I highly encourage you to seek a deeper consultation on exactly how a DAF can transform your business.